Hi, this is Ushio, and welcome back to Dreamcatcher. In the last part, we added another person to our party, so we're going to carry on our journey right now. Let's keep going. Would you like a recap of the previous chapter? I mean, sure, why not? In our previous installment, Rizzo and friends travelled to the city of Red Cross to look for another dreamer that Uoji had said might be there. Not knowing where to start, they stopped at Red Cross Library first, hoping to learn some things about the dreamers. They had little luck, but Damien did find a passage that made mention of the dreamers being brought to Sanvalet to stop something called the Dragon Wars. Later, they visited Mayor King Redacross at his mansion to see if he knew anything about the other dreamer. There they're interrupted by his son Zan, who offered to lead them to a private library owned by the Redacross family that might contain more information about the dreamer legend. Joined by the young fire mage, they make their way toward Rosenthal, where the library is located. Okay, June 12th, 2009. I know there's always this big to-do about summer vacation on TV, but when you live in a rural area, it's not all it's cracked up to be. There's not much to do out here. Anyway, in my boredom, I got to watching the Science Channel the other night. There was a special on alternate dimensions, string theory, all of that. If only they knew. I'm spending as much time as I can in Sanvalet. Still, it's easier now that I'm not trying to balance it with school. I've been practicing how to land where I want when I go through the gate. I think it's just a matter of having a clear mental image of where you're going. I've taken to sketching places I want to go back to so I don't forget. Oh yeah, there's a weird thing as it turns out. I can take things through the gate. It only seems to be certain objects though, like a sketchbook or clothes. Food generally works, but sometimes the packaging looks different on the other side. I don't think they really have plastic bags here. Most electronics straight up won't go through, and just get stopped at the gate and bounce back. And some change. Like, I tried to take in a CD player, and I thought it was going to work until I came through the other side and found myself holding an old school phonograph type thing. It's like the gate doesn't recognise the object and just replaces it with the closest approximation that exists in Sanvalet. It's kinda like, you know when you try to load a web page and something doesn't work right and it just shows up as a default font with broken image links and no formatting? It reminds me of that. I'm starting to think the gate world is like some form of computer network, maybe with an artificial intelligence at the controls. Or heck, maybe a real intelligence. Maybe the whole thing is just sentient. Who knows? It's super weird. Anyway, we're supposed to leave for the library this morning, so I'm heading back there. I'll see you on the other side. And away we go. Riza steps through the gates at the top of the hill overlooking the base. Under the apple tree, she found it to be the easy point to remember. She jogs down the hill and through the front door and finds Zan in the kitchen packing some food. Hey, where's everyone else? I think Damien's back in the study as usual. He indicates the room with the bookshelves. It had quickly become apparent that Zay and Dan were going to continue to be at odds with one another, and they were now involved in some sort of prank war. Their most recent bout had left Zan covered in feathers, and Damien locked in a closet for several hours until Luna found him. I'm not sure where Luna is. I think she might have gone to get the last of the stuff from her cabin. Oh, I hope she's back soon. Aren't we leaving? I thought that was the plan, yeah. He stuffed a large package of some kind of jerky into his backpack. They had made the trip to Redacross a few days prior to purchase some travelling essentials, for which Zan had flashed an insignia and asked the store to kindly deliver the bill to Redacross Manor. He received a strongly worded letter from his mother the day later, hand-delivered by Perot the guard, who seemed less than pleased about being a mailman. Okay, well, I'm gonna go round up Day and Arashi at least. Riza pokes her head through the study door to find the other boy fast asleep in an armchair, a book laying open on the floor, clearly having slid out from his hand. Riza picks up the book, flipping through it. It appears to be some sort of Sanvalian history book, telling tales of ancient times. It seems that there are conflicting reports from different cultures on how Sanvalet came to be, but nearly everyone seems to agree that it just sprung into existence fully formed by the hands of some deities, complete with ancient peoples and animals. Riza scoffs, it isn't possible. But then again, she's living proof of the impossible herself, so she supposes that she shouldn't dismiss it. Riza looks up at the thief boy, who's breathing slowly and evenly, completely out cold. She smiles briefly, then walks around to the back of the chair and gives it a shove, tipping it over and dumping Damien onto the floor with a thud. He lets out a yelp as he lands on the thin carpet, followed by a groan and a confused curse. What the hell was that for? For stealing my wallet last week, again. Good morning to you too, by the way. It's afternoon. Exactly. He rolls his eyes, pushing himself to his feet. What do you want? We're leaving for that other library today, remember? Are you ready to go? Why wouldn't I be? It's not like I own much that I can pack. Okay, then you can go and get Arashi ready. Why should I have to do that? Because he's your horse? He's not my horse, you wanted him. Yeah, but you know way more about horses than I do, so it makes sense for you to have him. I think your logic's flawed. It might be, but you said you were packed, so what else have you got to do? Sleeping was nice. Oh come on, I still have to figure out where Luna is. That sounds like a you problem. Riza gives him her best kicked puppy face. Damien rolls his eyes. Fine, whatever, you owe me one. With that he trudges out of the room, still yawning. Luna grits her teeth as an unwanted companion trots along behind her, holding up a one-sided conversation. So, they say that if you go far enough south, somewhere in the jungles of, is it Terra Suena, there's a city made entirely of gold. However, one has to wonder how much truth there could be to that, so gold doesn't make for very good building material, would Rouse. Why are you still following me? Oh, I'm not sure where else you expect me to go. Take the stupid cabin for all I care. It's really no fun if you just give it to me. Luna lets out an exasperated groan. I thought leaving those woods would mean getting to leave you behind too. Yeah, you're not that lucky. While we're at it, what are those things with you? Are these guys? Rouse looks at the two smaller spike ignei on either side of him. You mean Captain and Lila? They're my minions, of course. You are in no way powerful or important enough to have minions. Call them my pack then. Semantics aside, wherever I go they go too. We're a package deal. Well, then the three of you can turn around and go back where you came from. Where I came from? That's quite impossible. You see, the story of my childhood is a tragic one. It all started when my mother... Please stop. This story is different every time you tell it. Have you heard the version with the shipwreck and the giant sea beast? We are nowhere near the coast. It was a lake, a big lake. I hear there's a few some ways north of here. Luna growls in frustration and trudges on as Rouse chatters, carrying a small crate with the last of her belongings from the cabin, and before she knows it, the base is coming into view. Our group is getting bigger and bigger. Oh, is that the new place? Looks nice. Definitely an upgrade. Yes, and if you step one paw in there, I'll punt your spiky behind all the way back to the cabin. That would be impressive even for you. Come on now, at least give me a tour. Absolutely not. Oh, Luna, there you are. Hey, are you almost ready to... Oh, Rouse. Rouse gives a slight bow, a toothy grin on his face. At your service. What are you doing here? Well, you see, I was hoping to, He was leaving. Hang on, I'm getting deja vu here. She eyes the lesser spike ignei. What are those? Mutant porcupines? Never mind. Seriously, why are you here? Yes, as I was trying to say, I've come here seeking employment. Employment? Yes, of course. I'd like to offer my servitude in exchange for something valuable to me, yet trivial to you. Like food and shelter. What? I said you could have the cabin. How's that not shelter? It leaves out the food part. For God's sake, why don't you just learn to hunt? It's really not natural to me. My kind of scavengers at heart. Well, it's not even that I wouldn't take you up on that. It's that we were about to leave for a while. Oh, that's perfect. I can house it. Make sure no one breaks in, you know. And what would you do to stop them? Sick these two on them while I ran to the nearest town for helper calls. He indicates to Captain and Lila, who make an affirmative noise somewhat like a cat's meow. That really doesn't inspire confidence. It's better than no one being here and just allowing the thieves to take everything. Riza considers that. Good point. How do you know you wouldn't take everything? Because I've got nowhere to take it. Also a good point. Riza, you're not seriously considering letting him stay here? I mean, I kind of am, but I guess it's really up to Zan, since it's technically his house. Luna just sighs. Maybe we should just introduce everyone. Zan, unsurprisingly, is ecstatic at the concept of having a servant in the house. That's perfect. You can cook and clean and run errands for me, I mean us. We don't have a servant's quarters here though. Oh no, we won't be needing those. If he's staying here, he's sleeping in the barn with the horse. He can clean out there while he's at it. Oh yeah, good idea. Well, Rouse thinks for a moment. I suppose I've had worse accommodations. Then I think we have ourselves a deal. Shake, pause? No need. Okay, we got a deal. Big old squad now. A deal it is. Oh, he can transform. Nice. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Where's this? Heels click intermittently on the floor that wavers between rotting carpet and exposed stone. At the end of the hallway, a red-haired woman pushes open an ornate set of double doors that lead into a study. The room is large but sparse, containing only a few pieces of ancient dusty furniture and an old tapestry featuring a wolf and a dragon fighting. At the desk sits a man, writing in a journal. So, that oaf Lunos was telling me there's a new dreamer girl in town. She's the last one, isn't she? The man doesn't look up from his desk. Unfortunately so. What's the plan then? If all the dreamers are here, you're running out of time. Eventually they'll start to figure things out. Not for some time. The complete dreamer legend is nearly non-existent. We've made sure of that. That said, being that we actually know where the particular dreamer is, I'll be sending someone to deal with her. Lunos is a good actor, and I appreciate that, but it doesn't seem to be what we need. I volunteer. Alright, she's gonna go for it. I sort of miss tormenting that runt I used to babysit. I'd love to see his face when I rip his little dreamer friend to pieces. No, Sarashira, not you. Who then? A professional. Okay, we got bad company coming up. Someone who doesn't have to watch their targets expire. What is this? I can't believe you're actually letting Rouse stay here. I don't think he was going to leave, no matter what we did, right? Even if we chased him off, he'd have come back as soon as we were gone. I suppose he's persistent that way, yeah. Like a cockroach. I'm sure he'd be fine. Hey Zan, what's the town we're headed toward called again? Rosenthal? It's kind of an industrial hub. They've got a lot of factories and mills and bridges. It sits on the river, so there's lots of those. But we're actually going to the forest on the outskirts of it. The library's out there. Oh neat, how far away is this place? Not that far. Probably a few days walk. Why does travelling here take so long? Remember, we're walking. If you had a mount and Damien didn't refuse to ride his, we might move faster. Riza shoots Damien a critical look, which he pointedly ignores. Prior to this adventure thing, I just don't think I'd ever travelled anywhere that took more than a few hours to get to. Then you must not have gotten out much. That's not why. See, on Earth, we got these things called cars. They're like carriages, only they have engines, so they go on their own instead of needing to be pulled by horses or whatever. And they go really fast, like faster than a horse can run, and can go for a lot of miles without stopping. Sounds kind of fake, but sure. What are they powered by? Steam? No, something called gasoline. It's kind of like dead dinosaurs. It's not great for the environment, but nothing's perfect, I guess. Anyway, the point is, I'm not used to travelling for long periods of time. Well, better get used to it. I got the feeling we're going to be doing a lot of it. Riza sighs and keeps walking. Away we go. As the sun begins to set, the group decides it's a good time to stop and set up a camp for the night. Okay, we need some firewood, tents, and something to eat. What's for dinner? Zan, you're in charge of fire and wood. Now wait a minute. You wanted to come with us, and you're a fire mage, so go. Zan makes a face and trudges off in the opposite direction, Featherscales following close behind. You two set up the tents. Okay, but what are you gonna do? I'm gonna get dinner. It's been a while since I had a good kill. And with that, she darts off into the forest. Damien looks at the pile of tents. Okay, well, do you want to start? Okay, Riza just edged away. She gone. What? As Damien turns to where Riza had been standing, she's nowhere in sight, and he sighs. Fine. He looks to Arashi, who's turning his head to side, seemingly also wondering where Riza went. I guess it's you and me then. Riza trots through the woods, picking up a large club-like stick along the way. Maybe if I bring back firewood they won't complain too much. She pauses at a rustling sound from above somewhere. She looks around through the trees, unable to find the source, then jumps back as something comes flying at her. What is this? Riza uses the stick to try and fend off a large bird with purple plumage that just dive-bombed her, squawking and flapping its wings in her face. She stumbles back and manages to swing the club stick just in time to block a set of 3 large crystalline needles that come flying out of the trees, someone attacking. Swearing, she takes off running through the woods, aiming to narrowly avoid more needles raining down in front of her. As she skids to a stop and tries to turn around, she finally gets a look at her attacker. Yeah, totally under attack. Assassin! The girl is wearing bright purple of all things, with silver hair tied up in a half bun. The bird is hovering just behind her. Rizza doesn't get a chance to take in any more details, as the girl is suddenly on her, swinging a bladed fan. Rizza barely manages to block it with a stick and making another run for it. Help! Luna, Day, Zan, everyone! We are in big trouble. Back at the campsite, Damien's struggling to get 2 tent poles to fit together. He looks up when he thinks he hears a yell from some distance away. What do you think that was? Kinda sounded like Rizza. Arashi lets out a small nicker in reply. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stupid would it be to check it out? The question is answered with a snort. Damien looks at the tent poles. Well, it's not like this is getting anywhere. She probably just got her foot stuck in a hole or something. Maybe if I help, she'll set up the stupid tents. Arashi watches in silence as Damien stands, then perks his ears at the sounds of fighting in the distance. He lets out a distressed whinny, suddenly bucking and trotting around the campsite to where Damien is. What's the matter with you? Arashi paws at the ground, looking upset and throwing his head in the direction the yell come from. He whinnies again, taking a few steps away, looking impatiently at Damien and clearly indicating that he should follow. Okay, geez, I'm coming. It doesn't take long to figure out what the horse is upset about, as the sounds of metal hitting wood, someone crashing through the forest, and accompanying screams becoming audible almost as soon as he leaves the campsite. That can't be good. He picks up the pace. That was speed, and crashes full tilt into Rizzo as she comes flying around a tree. They hit the ground in a heap. Day? Shit, come on, we got to go. She picks herself up and tries to help him up as well. What's going on? There's some like ninja lady? Ninja lady? Suddenly he gasps and sidesteps a flurry of crystalline throwing needles. How many of those has she got? Wait, these are... He draws his knife just in time to deflect a swipe from a bladed fan. Damien freezes for a second, but he gets a good look at the attacker, recovering just in time to parry another blow. Wait. Stop. The ninja girl ignores him, continuing her assault. She manages to knock him off balance into the ground, directing her attention back to Rizza. Nirako, stop! This time the girl pauses, lowering her weapon slightly. He knows her. How? How do you know that name? Is it you? I don't believe it. The girl narrows her eyes, which, now that Rizza gets a look at them, are a light lavender colour with faded pupils. She's blind. Damien seems to be realising the same thing, as he pushes himself to his feet. Your eyes. He reaches a hand toward her, but freezes when he finds a blade at his throat, made of the same crystal as the needles. Who are you? He swallows. Nira, it's me. Oh god, your eyes, that was that day back in Notrima. Oh god, I'm sorry. She narrows her eyes even further, but pulls the weapon back slightly. Damien? He nods, and then seems to remember that she can't see him. Yeah, it's me. She's still for a moment. Then thrusts the kunai back at him with renewed anger, pointing at his chest. Where have you been? It's been, what, 5, 6 years? You just disappeared. I thought... Arashi, meanwhile, has come to stand next to a bewildered Rizza. I'm so lost here. She gets only a quiet snort in reply. Damien looks taken aback, and then goes back to guilty. I thought you were dead. I couldn't go back. So you just ran? Then she drops the kunai to her side. We looked for you, you know. You were the only one that wasn't accounted for. I never told my people what really happened. I told them it was an igneous attack, hoping that you were okay and would come back, but you never did. I had no idea. I'm sorry, I guess. This is just as much a surprise for me as it is for you. Nirako's silent for a moment, then sighs. I'm glad you're okay. As soon as she releases him, she turns back to Rizza, Arashi grabs her shirt sleeve with his teeth and pulls her out of the way just in time to avoid being sliced by the fan blades. Whoa, hold on, what are you doing? He makes a grab for Narako's arm, but she throws him off easily. Rizza skips backward to avoid another swipe. Yeah, I thought we were done with this. I've still got a job to do and you're still a target. What do you mean target? Can't we talk? There's nothing to talk about, nothing personal. Hold on. Move. She's with me. Doesn't matter. You don't want to do this. Yeah, I do it all the time. He looks taken aback for a moment. Wait, you're an Aijin? You're only now just realising that? I didn't think... Well, that they would let a blind girl be one? No, it just doesn't sound like you. You've missed a lot. Get out of the way. That won't be necessary. Suddenly, Narako finds herself in an arm lock, unable to move, with a blade at her throat. Drop your weapon. Narako doesn't move at first, then slowly lets go of the fan, and it falls to the ground. Damien, give me some rope. But, now... He starts a bit, and then jogs back to the camp, returning with a coil of rope. Luna sits to work, tying the girl's hands behind her back, and confiscating any additional weapons. The bird attempts to intervene, but Luna snatches it out of the air and binds its wings to its sides with a coil of rope as well. They walk back to the camp, captive in tow. You didn't even set up the tents. Yeah, we got a little bit distracted. Well, get to work, both of you. But what are we going to do with... I'll let you know when I figure it out. Tents, now. Luna takes their captive to the edge of the clearing, sitting her down near a tree, and appears to be asking questions. Narako doesn't seem to be answering. Hey, so how do you two know each other? We grew up together. Okay, so why is she mad at you? It's a long story. We got time. I really don't want to talk about it. Okay, fine. Better question. Why does she want to kill me? He looks up and over to where Narako and Luna are. I honestly don't know. I had no idea she was even capable of it. You called her an Aijin. What's that? Elite elfin warriors. Stealthy, quick, assassins mostly. Right, so ninjas. Sure, whatever that is. Luna walks over to him. She's not talking. Do you think you could get something out of her? Like what? Anything? Like why she's here? What she wants with Rizza? Who hired her? Anything? Oh, I could try her. Please do. Slowly, Damien approaches the elf girl and sits down next to her. We're not gonna, keep her, are we? What do you mean? What are we gonna do with her? We can't just let her go, can we? It really depends on what she says. I think the fact that she tried to kill me speaks for itself. We will see. You know what? I just remembered. I've got something to do at home. You can tell me the interrogation results when I get back. Okay, bye. You're leaving? Yep. Rizza stomps past Zan as he and Featherscales walk into the clearing with piles of firewood. The mage surveys the scene, an irritated Luna, a confused Damien watching Rizza go, and an elf. So, what did I miss? Oh, okay. End of chapter 7. So yeah, we got attacked by an assassin. But what are we going to do about it? And who's... Well, got those suspicious people. They sent her after us, but... Why? What are they trying to achieve? But hopefully we'll find out a little bit more in the next episode. This is Usho signing off, and hopefully I'll see you next time.